was looking for a photo series. I didn't have a theme in mind, and so I spent a lot of time earlier this summer just driving around and letting ideas kind of soak in and really kind of tuning my eyes. And sometimes that's the hardest part, is coming up with a subject matter that I feel passionate about. I shot a lot of different rolls of film and reviewed a lot, and I'd go into the darkroom and I'd print and I'd say, you know, that's a pretty good print and I like it, but it didn't stir anything within me, and I just didn't have that connection. And I thought, if I'm really going to focus on something and create something that I'm proud of and would like to display, I need to have that personal connection. And I've always had this draw to certain barns off of Highway 160. Oftentimes when I'm driving to Pagosa, I see them and I've always wanted to stop, but just haven't had time. And so I thought, you know, I'm going to make that my destination. And so I went out and shot a lot of barns along 160, and then that translated into barn shots between here and Silverton, pretty much all over. And when I started working with these, I kind of already knew that there was something about them that resonated within me. And then upon closer look, I found that I could spend entire mornings and afternoons and not grow tired of the subject matter. So I knew that I had found kind of the impetus, the idea that I wanted to work with. And then when I started looking more, I thought, you know, there is a lot of parallels and there is a lot of metaphor that the wood speaks of and the barns in themselves stand for, and just thinking that these are all century-old barns, they're all from the 19th century. A lot of these pictures here, and there's more to it, are all built by the same Finnish builder. And the craftsmanship speaks to the beauty, but also looking at features up close brings out certain details and certain artistic patterns that are there if you really stop and look. So that was interesting to me.
Well, the goal is to, I guess, keep challenging myself within the media of painting and drawing. That's really my background, and that's what I teach to, is painting and drawing. And so I wanted to put together a piece that I guess would be a challenge, something new for me, you know, because I've been working in drawing and painting my whole life, and well, I've never done a drawing installation before. And I had this series of drawings, 33 of them here, that I had started last summer, and so I came back to them this summer and kept working on them. And throughout the process of working, I thought it'd be interesting to set them up in the gallery as a larger installation. And part of the setup being kind of the final stage in the drawing process. So installing them in drawing, doing a drawing overlay over the entire piece. And so it was definitely an experiment, and I'm pretty happy with the result. Believe it or not, a lot of the inspiration comes from observational drawing. In my process, I tend to set up some sort of a system and then go about breaking the rules in some way. So I had the idea, well, I'm going to do some observational drawing. I'm going to find stuff, a lot of inconsequential objects that I would find out on the street, and bring them back to the studio and draw from them. So look at them and draw them. And so a lot of the imagery that's in here is kind of hidden objects that caught my eye and I brought to the studio and wanted to draw from. And so that's some of the inspiration for the piece. I just really follow my curiosity and see where it leads.
Often when people ask me about my work, where do you start with an idea? And with the two works that I have presented here in the gallery for the faculty show, they're both called, this one's called Exopod and Geopod. I'm sort of looking at the idea I looked at nature to start with. The idea of order and chaos often comes into play. And so with this work, there is an order, yet there's a chaos in the work. Another thing I think about with my work is scale, the size of the work. I'm kind of interested in the idea of people interacting with my work these days. With the Exopod here, you're able to walk into the piece, become part of the piece. So it's not just you passively observing the work, you're actually becoming part of the work by entering into the work. I also choose to use steel with my work, which is not necessarily like first thing you think of when you think of nature. And so I like that dichotomy between the two, nature versus man-made. This work is also Exopod here. I'm showing it in the gallery space, but it isn't intended to be an outdoor piece. I've exhibited in two locations outdoors. If you notice, there's rust on it. I do like natural materials, like being honesty to the materials, allowing the steel to rust. I don't apply a lot of color to my work, so I try to have an honesty to my materials. I think this is a really great opportunity to have the faculty show be the lead-off show for the gallery for the start of the year. It allows freshmen, transfer students to come in and see that we're not just professors telling you, teaching you, we're also practicing artists, and so I think this is a great way to kick off the year.
Yeah, I think to keep active in the studio, to make new work that is challenging for me, and the idea of pushing that scholarship for myself and the scholarship in the field is something that the students really react to. I don't think that they would believe in my validity as a teacher unless I were also practicing. And so I really make it a point to practice and not rest on my laurels and keep trying to push the creative envelope.